Hey, what the hell is going on with you and your face? I like it. You got a nice looking mug. Yeah. Hey, my name is Nick Digilio. I have a face too, not a good one, but it's there. It's topped by that. Seriously, I walk around in public with this on my head. I'll take the public transportation. You ever seen the kind of people that take public transportation like at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning? You ever seen those kind of people? They look at me and go, stay away from that guy. Look what's on top of his fucking head. Anyway, ridiculous. Hi, I'm Nick Digilio. If you are watching me on my YouTube channel, thank you. Subscribe, scroll down. There's like over 140 videos here with stories and about and movie reviews and all kinds of really cool, entertaining, fun stuff. So watch it, leave your comments, subscribe, all that stuff. If you're watching me on my Patreon channel, which is more important, you need to donate immediately. It's very, very easy. Patreon.com/NickDShow. Patreon's a great place for artists and musicians and storytellers and people who want to make videos and do all kinds of cool stuff and share it with the world, but need a little help. And you can donate and keep those people and those artists and those communicators alive and happy. I'm one of them. Donate today. $3, $6, $25 a month. Pick a tier, donate. $3 a month. What does that mean to you? Like a bag of Fritos and a bottle of water a month. You can afford that. You know how you watch PBS and you don't pay? Well, you don't get a tote bag if you don't pay. And also, if you watch PBS and you don't donate, you're kind of a dick. So anyway, go to patreon.com if you're watching me on Patreon. Donate absolutely at this moment. Patreon.com/NickDShow. Donate. It helps keep me going. The videos, the stories, you get bonus material, including behind-the-scenes stories about what happened at WGN with those assholes, and more. So donate today. My podcast, the Nick D Podcast, you can check me out every Tuesday and Friday. Brand new episodes. The Radio Misfits Podcast Network, best podcast network in the world. Nick D Podcast. All right. David Cronenberg has a new movie. It's coming out this Friday, which at this point is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 3 more days. It'll be out. It's called Crimes of the Future, and it stars Viggo Mortensen, Lea Seydoux, Kristen Stewart, and Scott Speedman, who is Ben from Felicity. And it is the latest film from David Cronenberg, who is, I think, one of the greatest filmmakers on the planet. And I discovered him at a very young age. Probably too young. But I saw a lot of stuff when I was too young to see it. Again, as you know, my father took me to see The Exorcist in the theater when I was 8 years old. So it's all gravy after that. But I've been obsessed with horror films since birth, basically, and started watching inappropriate R-rated crazy horror movies at a very, very young age. Hence, The Exorcist. David Cronenberg was one of those directors that I discovered through my love of horror and became obsessed with him at a very, very young age. You know, while most kids my age were watching Star Wars and they loved George Lucas and Steven Spielberg and all that shit, I was into David Cronenberg and John Carpenter and Walter Hill. Those are the kind of filmmakers that I liked. My friends were like, Star Wars, yay! And I'm like, yes, yeah, awesome. How about The Brood? Interested in watching The Brood with me? Yay, Star Wars, my friends loved it, yay! Uh-huh. Yeah, you ever hear of a movie called They Came From Within? Because that's much fucking better than Star Wars. Okay. Anyway, so that was the camp I was in. I was not in the Lucas Spielberg camp. I wasn't. So anyway, David Cronenberg. To get back to the subject here, his new movie is Crimes of the Future. Now I'm not going to fully review it because I've only seen it one time, and with certain movies and certain directors, Cronenberg being chief among those directors, you usually need to see his movies more than once to really get a grasp of them. Now, upon my first viewing of Crimes of the Future, I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was brilliant. It was Cronenberg at his vintage Cronenbergish, and I thought it was fantastic. It is a vaguely weird future time that people are living in, where bodies are adapting to the world. To the artificiality of the world. New organs are being manifested in our bodies in order to make us fit into our false environment. People are eating plastic. New organs are popping up. Viggo Mortensen plays a performance artist who, along with Lea Seydoux, they're a couple who perform operations in front of people. They tattoo organs that grow out of people's bodies. There's sexy stuff in it. Surgery is the new sex. Pain is sexy. Blood is cool. Gooey, bloody organs are awesome, and you want to fuck when you see them and tattoo them. This is David Cronenberg. Now, I loved the movie. I thought it was great. And I'm going to go see it again multiple times. I have, on this occasion of a brand new David Cronenberg movie, the first in 8 years, I've decided that I'm going to rank all the Cronenberg movies from worst to best. Now, know that he's never made a bad movie, ever. David Cronenberg is one of those directors who his worst movie is still better than 90% of other filmmakers alive. So David Cronenberg's worst is actually better than most people's best. Okay? So while you're out there watching your stupid little fucking dumbass, loud, noisy, dumb, fucking offensive Top Gun movie, enjoy blowing your money on that trash, you can actually watch something much more interesting, much more challenging, something that actually uses the medium of film to make a statement and to give you art, not shit. Take your $15 and laugh at your ass like the fucking Top Gun movie does. Dummies. Anyway, Cronenberg. Crimes of the Future. Loved it. Thought it was great. Everybody in it is great, especially Kristen Stewart. Kristen Stewart is revelatory in this movie and Kristen Stewart continues to be one of the most interesting and one of the best actresses on the planet. If you would have said that to me years ago when those Twilight movies were out, that she would be years later oh, you know what? You know who's like the best actress working today? You know who's the most interesting, taking the most risks, and is the ballsiest, coolest, fucking amazing actress and person on the planet? Kristen Stewart. I would have said, fuck off. Go back to your DeLorean, because that's not true. Same thing with Robert Pattinson, who, by the way, has worked with David Cronenberg. Now that both the girl and the guy from the Twilight movies they're legit now. They've worked with Cronenberg. So they're like real actor, real actress, because they've worked with David Cronenberg. But if you would have told me Robert Pattinson would be one of the greatest actors on the planet back when the Twilight movies, they are the two most interesting actor and actress on the planet right now, doing varying, challenging shit, and Kristen Stewart is absolutely amazing in Crimes of the Future. Great cast, everybody's great in it. Kristen Stewart is the standout. She's the best thing in the movie, and it's a great movie. But I've ranked it on this list of David Cronenberg movies that I will tell you from worst to best. There's 20 of them, 20 David Cronenberg movies, and I will tell you from 20 to 1 from worst to best. And it's in there. Crimes of the Future is in there, but I think it'll probably jump up higher once I see it a second and third and fourth time. But I just kind of placed it in there after one viewing. But all these other movies, the David Cronenberg movies that I've ranked, are ranked based upon me seeing them a million times, me loving them, and me ranking them as, the best and most interesting work from a fascinating director. David Cronenberg is 78, maybe? 70. He's in his late-ish 70s. Don't know his exact age. But he's a Canadian dude who started making commercials at a very young age, and then started making horror movies. Really ultra low budget. Some would say sleazy. Some would say questionable taste horror movies that were really about the body. He's most interested in the horror of what happens inside and around the human body, and that's where he went back to doing that with Crimes of the Future, which is his first movie that's very vintage Cronenberg kind of stuff since Existence back in 1999. He's a fascinating director. I discovered David Cronenberg right around the time when I really dove headfirst into horror, when I really discovered filmmaking. After I saw Halloween, when I discovered what a director does, when I was like, John Carpenter, okay, that's a director. That's when I dove in headfirst and really started looking at directors and filmmakers. Cronenberg was one of the early guys that I attached to, where I really started to embrace the auteur theory of filmmaking, which I stand by. The auteur theory, I stand by it. The filmmaker is the artist. The director is the most important part of any movie, and the director making that movie he has ownership of the movie. The director owns every movie. And so Cronenberg was one of those guys that I found fascinating. And I found his movies creepy and scary and original and awesome and really, really disturbing and really challenging. At an early age, David Cronenberg was one of those directors who really fired up my brain and fired up my imagination and freaked me out and made me think, wow, movies are nuts. Movies can really be challenging and really fucking weird and awesome. And I embraced David Cronenberg at a very young age. I love him. I think he's one of the greatest filmmakers alive. I'm thrilled that he is back after 8 years. I'm thrilled that he's back dabbling into the body horror stuff that he used to do years ago. He started to move away from that and become more of a prestige director, although still risky and still making you uncomfortable. But he dove back. Crimes of the Future. He's diving back into old vintage Cronenberg. So here are the David Cronenberg movies in order, number 20 to number 1. 20 being my least favorite, number 1 being my favorite. And again, he's never made a bad movie. Keep that in mind. Of the 20 films that I'm going to talk about, none of them are bad. Not many directors can say that. All the directors that everybody loves, they've made at least one bad movie. Cronenberg's never made a bad movie. Never. The weakest movie he's ever made is number 20. Now, coming in at number 20 is Fast Company, which was a movie that he made to make a little money. It was a commercial movie that he made. He is fascinated by car racing, by the world of cars, and that shows up in some of his other movies, including Crash. And he's fascinated by that. But he made a movie about car racing, Canadian film, and it was in the middle when he was trying to finance his weirder horror movies. He made Fast Company. Not very Cronenberg-like, has a few of the same themes, but is the most un-Cronenberg-like movie that you'll see on this list. That's Fast Company. Number 19 is A Dangerous Method with Keira Knightley and Michael Fassbender, Viggo Mortensen, a period piece about sex and about pain. It seemed to be David Cronenberg attempting to do the costume drama, the period piece, but he can't help but be fucking weird and a little disturbing and a little kinky, and the movie is very kinky. So Dangerous Method, which is a movie that I like it. I think it's good. It's not great by any stretch of the imagination, but it seemed to be David Cronenberg taking his really original and weird ideas about sex and pain and love and bodies and squeezing them into the period piece, the costume drama, the Academy Award wishing nomination kind of thing. Doesn't really work all the way through. Performances are good, Keira Knightley in particular, but A Dangerous Method comes in at 19. Number 18 is M. Butterfly, his adaptation of the incredible Broadway play to star Jeremy Irons. It was an interesting take on fascinating material. I love the play. I absolutely love the play. I think the play is insanely great. I was lucky enough to see it on Broadway when it first opened with John Lithgow and B.D. Wong, and it was one of the greatest theatrical experiences I've ever had. One of the most powerful, devastating, and beautiful things I've ever seen on the stage in my life. Lithgow and B.D. Wong, unfucking believable. Movie's not nearly as good as the stage adaptation, not nearly as good as the play. Some of the themes that Cronenberg talks about, he puts in there. But he seemed, again, like A Dangerous Method, he seemed like, okay, I'm in this world now. I should probably make movies that the critics will really like, that a wide audience will embrace, and that maybe I'll get nominated for Academy Awards for. Didn't really work out. Not a great movie. M. Butterfly. Number 17 is Maps to the Stars, a movie that I really loved, but it's one of the least personal movies that Cronenberg has ever done. There are touches of kink in it. There are touches of stuff that makes you a little bit uncomfortable. Everybody in it is great. The performances are all terrific. One of the best things John Cusack has ever done. And he made this movie after just skating for years, being terrible in terrible fucking movies. And it was like the first movie that he did outside of the Brian Wilson movie that he did, which he's very good in. It was the first time where John Cusack didn't suck for probably 10 years. But he's very good in it. And I think it's an interesting movie. I think Maps to the Stars is a really interesting movie. Again, not the most personal film that Cronenberg has made, although there are great performances and it's a perfectly entertaining movie. I know that this one's low. Number 16, Scanners. Now, I know a lot of people who are Cronenberg fans are like, what the fuck is wrong with you? How could Scanners be all the way down at number 16? Okay, I don't love Scanners. I don't. First of all, I think the acting is terrible in Scanners. The lead actor, Stephen Lang, is awful in the movie. Some of the acting is terrible in that movie, especially the lead. And if you're following this guy through the entire movie and he's awful, the performance is terrible. But Michael Ironside, please, as the villain. There are great moments in it, incredible, practical makeup, blood, gore effects, fantastic. The last 5 minutes is classic. The battle between the two scanners, brains, eyes exploding, veins popping up, awesome. The head explosion at the beginning of the movie, legendary classic, one of the most legendary moments in film history, horror film history, please. But I never really, I've seen it a million times. I've never really deeply got into it. I liked the themes that he went for, the whole rage thing. I really enjoyed that. So the ideas that Cronenberg has, they're well, they're in there. They're established in there. I just don't think it's the best storytelling, and I certainly don't think it's the best acting. And there are parts of it where I was kind of like, and I still kind of check my watch. When I'm watching Scanners, there are sections in the movie when I'm like, man. But again, for about the first 20 minutes, it's great. Michael Ironside is the best. The lead actor is terrible. It's not Stephen Lang. I can't remember his name. Stephen Lang is the blind guy from Don't Breathe. Terrific actor. I can't remember the guy's name. If you know his name, leave it here. The lead actor in Scanners. He's fucking terrible. But anyway, Scanners is low. I know that. Number 15, Cosmopolis, based upon Don DeLillo's novel. Terrific movie. A terrific movie. Again, this is at number 15, and it's terrific. So we've got 14 more terrific to great movies coming up. Cosmopolis, Robert Pattinson. As I mentioned before, fantastic. Most of it takes place in a limousine. It takes place over the course of one day in the very strange life. There's amazing stuff in it. There's anal probing in this movie. So that's enough. It's Robert Pattinson and it's Don DeLillo and it's David Cronenberg. So it's great. Number 14, Crimes of the Future. Again, it's the brand new one. I've only seen it the one time. Comes out on Friday. I think it's terrific. I think it's vintage Cronenberg. I'll probably like it more when I see it more. But at number 14 right now. Number 13 is Rabid. One of the first movies, probably the first movie I ever saw. Yeah, Rabid was the first movie I ever saw. Then I went back to Shivers / They Came From Within. Rabid, Marilyn Chambers, porn star, was the star of this movie. And again, it's about disease. It's about a girl who, after surgery, develops a fang that when she is sexually aroused, the fang comes out and stings people, and they become rabid, crazy maniacs. And this rabid disease of foaming at the mouth, sex-crazed, fucking sex-starved, kinky, rabid monsters start running around. And this disease, this virus, starts killing people. And by the way, that movie was very popular during the pandemic lockdown. Like, people like to watch movies about contagions and stuff like that. Rabid, great movie. And again, a lot of David Cronenberg movies are very popular for what we've been going through in terms of the pandemic and all that stuff. Cronenberg's movies are good for that. And Rabbids being one of them. Number 12, Eastern Promises, which would be the second movie he made with Viggo Mortensen. He's since worked with him more times, including the new movie. Eastern Promises, really terrific movie, more straightforward, has an incredible naked steam room fight scene. That's the thing that most people remember. Very violent, very creepy, deals with a lot of crazy themes like Cronenberg does. Eastern Promises, great performance by Viggo. Number 11, Existence, which was the last movie that he made about body horror before the new one, featuring Jude Law, Jennifer Jason Leigh. It plays like David Cronenberg's greatest hits. If you like the early body horror stuff that Cronenberg does, Existence is like the greatest hits of David Cronenberg, which is also how Crimes of the Future plays, and I loved it. Existence comes in at number 11. Number 10 is Videodrome. That was the first movie where Cronenberg went way off into his own world. The movies that he made before that, he at least he made them so that normal people could watch them. He didn't make them so out there and so artistic and weird that, normal people who went to see them wouldn't enjoy them. Videodrome was a movie that was completely divisive. I went with my buddy Bob Hansford to see it. He wanted to fucking kill me when it ended. He hated it. He's like, I don't understand it. It's stupid. It's dumb. I think it's brilliant. Videodrome. James Woods, Debbie Harry from Blondie is in it. Way ahead of its time in terms of the themes. You watch Videodrome now, that movie was prescient, however the fuck you want to pronounce it. That movie was way, way, way ahead of what's going on. Like, internet stuff. This movie was 1983, and it really predicted the kind of shit that we put up with and watch and look at now 24 hours a day on this fucking internet social media world. Videodrome, go back and watch it. 1983 it came out. As important today as it was prescient in 1983. A brilliant movie, also gory, gooey, fantastic effects. Number 9, Spider, an incredibly underrated movie with the best performance that Ralph Fiennes has ever given. A great psychological movie with incredible Miranda Richardson, incredible in it. Really deep, fucked up movie about mother issues, and one of the best movies that Cronenberg has made. That's just psychological horror. There's not a lot of body horror in it, not all the gooey stuff like in all the other movies with, pus and blood and blisters and tumors and shit like that. Spider is the best psychological movie that Cronenberg has ever made. Ralph Fiennes is amazing in it. You've probably never seen Spider from 2003. Spider, a great, great, great movie. Ralph Fiennes' best performance. Fascinating, really fucked up, really disturbing, really great. Number 8 is The Brood. I love this movie. Samantha Eggar, Oliver Reed, Art Hindle, about these cancer-infected, disease-ridden virus babies that Samantha Eggar gives birth to whenever she gets angry. Oliver Reed, amazing in it. It is about rage. It's about how the body manifests tumors and evil spirits and body changes at the idea of rage. It was the first movie to really dive head first in what Cronenberg has been doing for years. The Brood. Scary, awesome, creepy fucking kids, an unnerving ending. I think Cronenberg's one of the most effective movies. I love The Brood, and that comes in at number 8. Number 7 is Crash, his brilliant adaptation of J.G. Ballard's incredible book. Sexy, twisted, weird. It's about people who like to fuck and crash cars and then bleed all over each other and fuck their wounds. Holly Hunter, Elias Koteas, James Spader, Rosanna Arquette. Incredibly kinky, incredibly twisted, faithful, beautiful adaptation of a really fucking twisted, crazy book. Ballard, Cronenberg, perfect fit. Number 5, The Dead Zone, his most commercial movie, his most accessible movie, but still personal, still deals with a lot of the themes that he deals with. Best performance Christopher Walken has ever given, and I think the best, one of the best, I like Carrie as well, but one of the best, easily one of the top 5 or 3 Stephen King adaptations of all time. The Dead Zone, number 5. Number 4, Naked Lunch, his unbelievable adaptation of Burroughs' classic. He didn't really adapt the book, because the book is unadaptable. It's an unfilmable book. If you've ever read Naked Lunch, like when I heard Cronenberg was making it, I'm like, there's no way he's going to be able to do it. But he did a brilliant thing. He made it about William Burroughs writing Naked Lunch. So it's about the writing of Naked Lunch. It's got tons of Naked Lunch in it, huge sections of it, the themes, the style, the tone, the richness, the insanity of it, the trippiness of it. It's all there. But he did it brilliantly by being able to tell the story of how William Burroughs wrote Naked Lunch. Peter Weller, incredible in it. Judy Davis, incredible cast. Roy Scheider, unbelievable movie. Risky, crazy, out there, full of Cronenbergisms, full of Burroughsisms. The brilliant, again, like Ballard, a brilliant combination of brilliant, crazy, risk-taking artists. That's number 4. Number 3, A History of Violence, an incredible movie with incredible performances. Vigo, unbelievable in it. Maria Bello, unbelievable. The great William Hurt, the late great William Hurt, one of the best performances he's ever given. It's Ed Harris. It's violent and creepy. It is a little bit more straightforward and doesn't have the body horror stuff that Cronenberg does, but it deals with a lot of the same issues and a lot of the same themes. It's incredibly effective, incredibly intense, scary, fucked up, twisted, awesome. Incredible performance by Viggo Mortensen. Number 2, The Fly. Better than the original 50 campy Vincent Price movie. The first time that Cronenberg ever really made a commercial movie that still had all of the gooey, wonderful body horror themes that Cronenberg is known for. An incredible performance by Jeff Goldblum, incredible performance by Gina Davis. They were together at the time, and it's a beautiful love story. Yes, it is. Despite all the fact that it has all the crazy body stuff and the goo and the blood and the pus and the craziness, it is a great movie, a great sci-fi movie, a terrific horror movie, a great Cronenberg body horror movie, and an absolutely beautiful, heartbreaking love story. A beautiful love story, one of my favorite love stories of all time. Number one, my favorite David Cronenberg movie of all time is Dead Ringers. Dead Ringers is a masterpiece, brings together everything that David Cronenberg likes to do in his movies, the themes, the issues that he brings up. It's got the body horror, it's got the psychological stuff, it's got the fucked up relationships with women, it's got sex, violence, it's got sex and violence together. And it is anchored by two amazing performances by Jeremy Irons playing the twins. Geneviève Bujold is in this movie. It's the best movie he's ever made. It is incredibly uncomfortable. It is a movie that, like the best Cronenberg movies, will make you very queasy, will make you very uncomfortable, and may make you walk out. You know why? Because David Cronenberg likes to fucking challenge his audience. If you're not up for it, get out. You're not up for the challenge? Bye. We don't need you. I took a girl on a first date to see Dead Ringers. Not a great first date movie. It's about twin gynecologists who are on drugs who make tools, gynecological tools to insert into women. Yeah, he was an OBGYN, and a fucked up OBGYN, and it's a really twisted, fucked up movie, and it's certainly, I do not recommend taking a girl on a first date to see it. Never saw the girl again after the movie. By the way, I had already seen it. So it was kind of like a test. I was trying to test this girl. I'm like, hey, I'll take her to see Dead Ringers. If she likes it, then she's cool. It was a dick move on my part. But, again, she didn't like it. So I'm like, well, fuck her. You don't like Dead Ringers, I don't need to be with you. I've only met a couple of women in my life who have liked a few women who have liked Dead Ringers. Married a couple of them, actually. No, married one of them. One of them hated it. But anyway, Dead Ringers, to me, is the culmination of everything that David Cronenberg has ever done. It is artful. It's brilliant. It is, Academy Award kind of thing. It's a prestige movie that does not sacrifice the really disturbing, really twisted, really challenging, gooey, fucked up body stuff that Cronenberg likes to do. So Dead Ringers is my favorite of all time. So those are his 20 movies, Dead Ringers being my favorite. But again, the top 15, all 4-star movies. Top 16. Yeah, top 15 of them. Top 15 out of 20, 4 stars. David Cronenberg is one of the greatest filmmakers that's ever lived. He's one of the greatest filmmakers on the planet. His new movie comes out on Friday. If you're up for it, if you've got the balls to see it, go see it. If not, stay home or go watch your dumbass little Top Gun again. But go see Crimes of the Future. It's a great film. I can't wait to see it again and insert it maybe higher on this list. David Cronenberg, a genius, an absolute genius, and we're lucky to have him. So, Crimes of the Future, Friday. Ooh.